Okay, volume check.
Hola! Welcome to our PodVision. Our PodVision is I Stand Corrected, and we are your hosts, Tarpon Total Health Care. We are a chiropractic office located in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and we provide for you spinal adjustments that you can trust. My name is Anjel Camenzuli, and I am the patient liaison for our office. So welcome to our PodVision, and I would love now to introduce to you our guest for our 6th episode here. So this is Lisa Campos, and she is the founder of Investigation Station.
Yes. Hi, thank you. It's such an honor to be here with you today.
Yes, I'm very, very tickled about our little get to know here. I already know quite a bit about you, so that's one of the reasons why I was super excited that you were able to be available. So let's talk about a couple of things, all things Investigation Station.
All right.
So I have here that you are the founder as of 2005 for Investigation Station. You're very passionate, which I know this to be true, about making positive educational experiences for kids outside of the classroom, which doesn't happen nearly enough. Through community collaboration, you are married to your college sweetheart, Carlos, who I had the privilege of meeting. He is a veterinarian. And y'all have 3 kids, a dog, 2 cats, 2 goats, and 6 chickens.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a member of the Community Service Council of West Pasco, and you enjoy long walks on the beach. Just kidding. Walking in nature, traveling and learning about other cultures.
Yes.
So that is all 100% true to the way that I know you for the last couple of years.
That is me in a nutshell.
Yep, in a nutshell. So now let's break open the nut.
Okay.
Shell. Whatever, you know what I meant. So tell us a little bit more about what inspired Investigation Station. How did you arrive?
All right. Well, I had gone to graduate school at Florida State University to earn my master's degree in anthropology. And so my dream job was to work in a museum. And then my husband got a veterinary job here in Pasco County. And there was not a big museum nearby for me to work
Not at all.
So I was raising our eldest, Xavier, and I said to my husband, there's no nearby children's museum for me to bring Xavier to. I said, so I think I'm going to start my own. And he said, go for it. So that's what I did. So I started creating little hands-on exhibits, and I would go to Mommy and Me groups, and the kids would come to the table and they would experience different things, touch and smell and, hearing and stuff like that. And then, I slowly grew to going to schools and childcare centers. And then I said, let's make this bigger so that not just people in the classroom can experience it. Let's have, people in the community be able to experience it. So I started having a board, and I said, let's, consolidate our resources and put them all into creating public, free exhibits for people to visit on their own time. And so that's what we've been doing, and we've been going, it'll be 18 years in July that we've been working on Investigation Station and helping people have positive educational experiences outside of the classroom, because the classroom doesn't need to be the only place that we learn. We can continue learning all our life long, which we should.
Right, absolutely, and especially getting the little ones, like from tiny age up, where because one of the things that you say is you provide interactive experiences And it is. So you have a couple of exhibits that I know of, and I'm sure that you have more than the ones that I know. There was the splash pad, for example, and then there were other exhibits also that you have done. So let's talk about some of that.
Okay, absolutely. I'll show my visual aid here. We opened on the bicycle path at Starkey Wilderness Park. It's a 1 mile scaled model of the solar system.
That's right.
And so this is the artwork from our exhibit, and from the sun to Pluto. And so a digital artist named Gordon Engebretson out of Land O'Lakes, Florida, he designed each of these pieces of artwork. And what's especially cool is that you can see the sun is visible in every single part as you walk through. And way out here in Pluto, it's just, a bit of light.
Right.
From the sun to Pluto on this bicycle trail.
So cool.
And it's set so that as though you were in the solar system. So you have the inner planets, which are closer together, and the outer planets, which get farther and further apart.
Right.
On the back side of each of these beautiful pieces of artwork are fun facts that we pulled off of the NASA website, and also calculations so that you can plug in your figures and you can figure out your age and your weight on all of the other solar bodies.
That's so cool. This is one that I've not been able to go to, but my daughter and I actually talked about that with my oldest granddaughter. She's old enough to really appreciate things like this. She's 7 years old. They ask all the questions. So this would be a great one for her to go to. She's learning how to read, so she'd be able to, this would be the coolest kind of interaction for her to be able to see. This one's neat. So now this is at Starkey.
Starkey Wilderness Park. You need to park by shelter number 5 if you can get a spot over there, because that's where the trail is that takes you out to the bike path.
Right.
And you just go past the restrooms and you follow this nice little trail through the woods, and then you're on the bike path, and there's a big welcome sign, and the sun is right there. And just like in the solar system, you can see from the sun to Jupiter, all bam, 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 right there. But then everything else is so spread out, just like in space. So it's a whole mind and body experience. I would like to remind the viewers that there's no water on the bike trail, and so if you're going all the way out to Pluto, you do have to come back. So it will be a 2-mile hike. Just keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, stay hydrated,
Yes.
my friends.
Yes.
Cool deal.
Thank
That
you.
one's great. What else we have? I love show and tell. You brought some really good stuff too.
All right. Well, so this is Saturn up close.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and there's the sun up there, and
looks like a little blip.
He included some moons. Saturn has moons.
Oh,
So,
and a freckle. He has a freckle.
yeah, that's another moon.
That one's neat. Okay.
In the library system, the librarians, they wanted a mobile STEM exhibit because there are several branches of the Pasco County Library System. So they wanted an exhibit that could be boxed up and could be taken from branch to branch. And so we created Kidstruction, which is tons and tons of Kiva planks, which are like, I could compare them to Jenga blocks because they're about the same size.
Oh, wow.
They come in all kinds of colors and just natural wood, and they just lay on top of each other, unlike those traditional locking blocks, which a lot of children love to lock together but not take apart.
Sure.
So we included with our our Kiva planks, a set of construction ideas, and a catapult and a wrecking ball to encourage the children to destroy whatever they've made and to build something new. Because with the locking blocks, you're not encouraged to take them apart.
Right, that's true.
And create something new. You just build it and then it stays, and then mama has to dust it. Well, the librarians love this because it's very easy. You just clean it up back into the box and off to the next branch.
Which local libraries do you have this in? Because I myself might want to go and partake in said little adventure.
All of the Pasco County libraries. So
Really?
it's one exhibit, and they just transfer it. So if you were
Okay.
to go to your local branch and request it, if it's not there, they could make a request and have it delivered to their branch.
Or they could tell you where it is located, so if you wanted to just go that day and not
Yes.
have to wait.
Absolutely. Normally, when the branches hold their Lego Mania
Mm-hmm.
Day, they have our exhibit there as well for the kids to play with.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So then, did we talk about the splash pad? We did not.
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Okay, so our third exhibit that we opened was at the Veterans Memorial Park in Hudson.
Okay.
And we created a splash pad. And in case you're not familiar with what a splash pad is, it's a series of fountains and water features for kids to play in and cool off, especially in the hot summer months when it's, much more preferable to be sitting inside. No, we don't want to be sitting inside. We want to be using those big muscle groups
Yeah.
and running around and keeping our bodies fit and interacting with people. So the splash pad is located behind the gymnasium and the pool at the Veterans Memorial Park. That's the one up on Hicks Road in
Okay.
Hudson.
Yes.
There's a big tank out front.
Yep.
That is the one. And it's in a lower socioeconomic part of the county, which is great because then our folks who might not be able to afford swimming lessons, children do not need to know how to swim in order to play on our splash pad. There is 0 water depth, so there's no chance in drowning. So as mamas with more than one small child do not have to be nervous that they can't have their eyes, on every single child.
Yeah, for fear of drowning.
Exactly. And the kids can run around and keep cool and have a really good time. And so we designed it to have a theme of the water cycle in Florida. And so we've got a rainbow, we've got the big bucket that splashes down about every 60 seconds.
Wow.
And then this here is supposed to be the backside of the gymnasium. And we got some local artists, Hanson Art and Design. They created the most beautiful mural of the water cycle and how it is in Florida. It's in a Florida landscape.
Okay.
So there's no snow, but it shows with arrows, how you have the condensation and the evaporation and the collection and the precipitation.
Right.
And
Lots of precipitation happening here.
we need precipitation right now. It's so dry.
True.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and it's for all ages and all abilities. The kids can go inside. It's completely fenced. So nobody can just sneak out if your child, there's only one gate. So if your child goes in, you'll know if the child has come out because
Hopefully.
Yeah. So long as you're paying attention, they're
This
not
is
going to be able to
fantastic.
sneak off without you knowing.
Now, I love the fact that you said that it's located in an area where families that would, because listen, we looked at Adventure Island passes and, a couple of other water park passes for holy smokes, they are expensive.
Yes.
And that's just to get in the door. And then there's water that's like, what, $5 a water bottle, I feel like, or very close. Like, I'm not even being snarky about it. So for folks that wouldn't otherwise maybe be able to take their kids or their grandkids or nieces, nephews, whatever. What about, what if a child is in a wheelchair? As long as it's not motorized.
Yeah, I was going to say, as long as it can get wet,
Yeah.
they can go in this. Yep, we have, right at the front, we have the little bubblers for the little babies so that they don't have to maneuver through the bigger kids. The bigger kids stuff is further back so that,
Right.
the babies stay safe. And we have the cannons so the kids can feel like they're in control of where the water is being shot. And yeah, it's a lot of fun and very refreshing. And the artwork is just, it's beautiful. They did a beautiful job.
And free.
And free.
And free,
Yes.
which I
Everything's
think is significant. This is probably one of the greatest give backs that I've seen in local communities.
This was a huge community partnership effort, huge.
I remember when you were just trying to get the what am I trying to say? Yeah. There was different things that all of these hoops, fiery hoops juggling wet cats to try to get approved just for the foundational stuff here that the kids are going to run all over. And it was just a really difficult time.
It was a challenge, but we made it through. It took us 8 years, but
I did not know
persistence and patience paid off.
Yeah, lots of prayer. Please, Jesus. This is fantastic. This was probably one of the coolest things that I've seen, and I'm just so happy and honored to know you, the founder of such an incredible dream that's provides so much fun for many, many families and at no charge.
Yes, and for years to come. To come. So our next project that we're working on is a geology exhibit. It's called Florida Rocks, a walk through geologic time. And it's a partnership with the city of Newport Richey. And they asked me to put something along the river. There's a little park. It's called Cody River Park. It's just north of Sims Park on Grand Boulevard. And it's going to have 12 stations. And as you go through each station, if you start, you can start at either end of the park. And so you're either traveling through time to the present or back in time to, when the world began.
Right.
Doesn't really matter which end you start at, however you want to is fine. And it'll show how Florida came to be where and how it is.
Huh.
The world, when it first, the way scientists have discovered and theorized that it began, we were just this big molten mess. There was no hard land until all of these gases started spewing and we finally had some rain which cooled things down, and that's how land started being created. And then the land eventually broke apart and moved and came together and then broke apart again and then we had life, and we started having little breathing organisms, and then we started having fish, but not fish like we know them. We had jawless fish that would just go around through the oceans with their mouths open to catch things. But then we got fish with jaws, when they would close their mouths around the food. And then we had really big hunting fish that would eat the smaller fish, and then we had fish that were like, oh, I don't want to be prey anymore. And all of a sudden we had amphibians. And so they were started...
Get on up out of there.
That's right. They started escaping from the predators. And then the land started to change, and we started having, more plants outside of the water, and we started having grass, and with the beginnings of grass, we were able to have grazing animals. And with the beginning of grazing animals, then we had the predators hunting the prey. And then that allowed humans to really move all over the world because they were chasing the prey as well. And so Florida broke off of Africa and moved across the ocean, as it were, at the time. And we weren't above land, though. We were under the water. And so it took the erosion of the Appalachian Mountains over millions of years, because first we had to fill in. There was this huge channel which separated Georgia and Florida. And so once that channel was filled in by the erosion, then the rocks and the sand and the dirt were able to move south. And so that slowly started to build up above sea level. And then down in southern Florida, with the corals, the coral reefs and the little animals down there, the skeletons, that's built up the southern part of Florida, which is why the land is so different down there compared to in the northern part of Florida.
A lot of things are different down there than the northern part, if we're being honest.
Yes. So we're working with a couple of artists, and one artist, John Dispinette. This is a piece that he came up with for at the very, very beginning of time, of Earth's time, and so he's, proposing, all of this molten lavaness and and these other worlds that might have been in existence. And then he went a little more scientific on this other this other draft here. This is the Silurian period, which this is a draft. Silurian is only spelled with one L. But that's okay. And so, and his idea is to make this like a clock, so that Florida is slowly getting to where it currently is, and that with each time period, he's kind of showing where the position of the state.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so these are the critters that were in existence in this time period, which was 440 to 410 million years ago.
I'm not seeing an alligator anywhere.
No.
I feel like they were at the beginning of time, and they've just not morphed into anything else from then until now.
Well, this you might recognize. We still have these.
Yeah, the stingrays.
No, this is a horseshoe crab.
Just kidding. I don't go in the water, Lisa. I'm afraid of the water.
Oh, okay. So, but we're going to have artwork similar to this in 12 different stations, and that's what we're busy collaborating with other people in the community right now on, and we're raising funds for that. Currently, we have a little fundraiser going on. You can find it on our website, which is investigationstation.org.
Wonderful.
And a portion of purchases from that, and anybody who wants to host a Norwex online party is welcome to do so, and then that contributes to the donation that's being made to us.
That's fantastic. You've got a lot going on.
We do.
A whole lot going on, but really wonderful things coming from it. Things like this, cause kids to ask questions, which, granted, it makes, parents and grandparents, it can be awkward. I'm an abuela, so I know this. My granddaughter can ask questions that's like, oh, wow, I really didn't see that coming, and I have to really think about it. And things like this, they're more than just time fillers. They are interactive, getting parents and kids, and and the bonding, but things that don't, I caution myself to say that they don't happen like they used to. I just remember what life was like with my grandparents growing up, and we were very interactive. We talked about all the things, and I just don't feel like that's really more of the common thread a whole lot anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I continued it with my kids. My kids were just a bunch of curious little critters themselves.
And it never hurts to say, I don't know, but let's find out together.
Yeah.
And showing your curiosity as well, and showing that you don't know everything is very beneficial to children.
I cannot agree with you more. Kids do need to see that parents aren't perfect.
Yes.
And that they don't know everything, no more than this one, but not everything. And so, things like this for that type of interaction, I think would be, I know it to be bonding in the very, very least. And it causes you to expand your own frame of thinking. And maybe you realize that you're in a box that was rather small. You thought it was big enough, and maybe it was not exactly. I know that's some of my question asking, really pushed the limits with my parents on many levels. That's a whole nother PodVision that will never happen. But so anyway, this is fantastic. So you're working on this at the Cody River?
Florida Rocks.
Okay.
At the Cody River Park. Yes.
And where are you in the developmental stages of that?
We are working on getting our site plan created. We're working on collecting donations. We need we're having 12 stations, so I would really like to have one or more donors per station at $1,000 a station. and we need concrete. Concrete would be very, very helpful.
Okay.
If somebody has a sponsor or knows of a concrete company that would like to be a sponsor.
Sure.
The idea is that we're going to tear up some of the existing sidewalk and put the artwork into the sidewalk. And at a few of the stations, instead of it being artwork in the sidewalk, it would be engineering tables. We have a fabulous engineer, Sam McAmis. He works at River Ridge High School. He is the engineering instructor over there. And he just got back from taking the kids to the robotics competitions.
Right.
And they came in 4th place in one of them, I think.
Well, that's
very
neat.
good. Yep, they're doing really well. And so he's helping us with creating different interactive tools for the kids to manipulate to help them learn these geological concepts.
Okay. So then that's somebody that you're already partnered with, and so the information for interested parties to sponsor or even be more hands on deck for you can be found on your website?
Yes.
Great. So that is investigationstation.org. That is definitely a website you need to check out just to see what they've done, see what they're doing, and how you can be a part of something great in our local communities. I am so glad that you were able to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
I think that this has been a wonderful expose, if you will. Maybe people will watch this PodVision that did not know anything about who in the world Lisa Campos is, but now will actually actively want to seek you out.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
It's my pleasure.
So, again, thank you to Lisa for being part of our PodVision. You can go and enjoy the interactive exhibits we've been talking about right here in Pasco County, Florida. You can go on our website, like I said, investigationstation.org, find out where all of those places are. And I want to say a huge thank you to our partner, Area 52 Media Group. We absolutely love being able to put on these PodVisions every week. And so, again, follow us on all of the social media platforms. You'll find them listed there. We have a new Facebook page called the Adventures of Snappy Spine and the Backmobile. So definitely seek that out and follow us. That's where all of our ridiculousness goes. And thank you so much for watching. Remember, at Tarpon Total Health Care, we provide you spinal adjustments you can trust so you too can stand corrected.